Just when we thought we were in the clear, everyone's getting healthy, getting ready to go for the second half of the year, we get some injury news. Oh, baby. We're going to talk about it all. It's good to see you guys. It's been a while. We got a lot to catch up on. Let's get into it right meow. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it. Well, it's been about a week since I've done a live. I am fresh. Let me say that. Restate that. I am fresh. I'm feeling good. We detox off social media. Whew. Went out into the wilderness, did a whole bunch of good stuff, but I know that's not why you guys are here. The reason you're here is because we want to talk about San Francisco 49ers football. And we'll talk about it really quick. Maybe we'll dive back a little bit into the trip. But as we know, the big news of today, because again, like I said, I went into a beautiful part of California, went up the northern coast, the place where we were staying, 15 minutes away from the coast, 15 minutes away from giant redwood trees. So it was a beautiful place to be, vibing, just relaxing, turned off social media, turned off the phone, just vibing. Got back to nature, chilling with the family, doing all that good stuff. It was beautiful. It's wonderful. So I was really excited to come on today because the last time that we spoke, I believe, was last Thursday. It's probably the longest break that I've had for some time now. So I was looking forward to talk about, from everything that I'm hearing, we're getting players back. Guys are getting ready to go. Deebo Samuel, Jawan Jennings, Kyle Juszczyk, Azeez Al-Shaair, Elijah Mitchell. Sounds like the gang is getting back together. Well, I guess it was reported while I was away that Eric Armstead is dealing with a broken foot of sorts, a hairline fracture of sorts. So, again, I'm a little behind on some of the news, but I don't know if that is a new injury or if that's just something that was the original injury. They're just reporting it now. From Matt Mayoko says Eric Armstead has a stress reaction and hairline fracture of his left fibula and plantar fascia on his right foot. So I'm trying to catch up, trying to figure it out, trying to catch up on what's going on with these Niners. And then today, let's see about what time. I got a text around 7 in the morning letting me know that Jason Verrett was going to be out for the year. So just feels like whenever the 49ers take 2 or 3 steps forward, it's like boom, right back to something. So there are some good things to talk about. We're going to get into all that kind of stuff, but it is, it's just one of those situations. And of course, with Jason Verrett, this is terrible for Jason Verrett. Jason Verrett, if we want to go all the way back, draft crush of mine coming out of TCU, loved him as a cornerback in that purple and black. He was a baller back in college, drafted to the Chargers, phenomenal as a Charger. But as we know, he got a lot of injuries started to pile up on him. He had a ACL tear as a Charger. He had an Achilles tear as a Charger. He had a knee tear as a Charger, and a bunch of other soft tissue injuries. Then, as we know, week 1 against the Detroit Lions. Jason Verrett tore his ACL, and he was trending towards being back today, or I guess I should say this Sunday, against the team that drafted him. It felt like a really good kind of feel good moment for Jason Verrett. Again, I was at training camp. If you got to training camp early, you would see Jason Verrett out on the field before any of the other players, any of the coaches. It was just Jason Verrett. He was out there running the field, cutting, jumping, doing all different kinds of things. And that was in August, like early August. And you could see him still, like, he could run, he could do those things. You could see him working really, really hard back in August to get to the point this week where he cleared all the injury reports. Again, we heard the last couple of weeks he was dealing with soreness and throwing and things like that. And so you're like, oh, hopefully he's going to be okay. And then they're like, oh, yesterday, or I think the day before, it's like, oh, he's cleared. He's leading the warm-ups. And we're like, hell yeah, let's go. Let's go, Verrett. And unfortunately, again, got the news this morning that Jason Verrett has indeed torn or ruptured, I guess you could say, his Achilles, which I couldn't imagine that. That injury, it's devastating news. One, not only as a 49er fan, but for Jason Verrett, man. Like, I I can't speak to the level of mental, like, just the toll that these types of injuries, reoccurring injuries, take on your body. I just can't imagine where Jason Verrett's at, like, mentally. Like, forget the football stuff, forget all that. Again, week 1, September 12th, 2021, till now, today, November 10th, 2022, working back from his 4th season-ending injury, 2nd ACL tear, getting back, gets cleared, tears his Achilles before he's set to probably play a good amount of snaps, because as we know, Emmanuel Mosley goes down against the Panthers, lost him for the year due to an ACL injury. So it's tough, man. It's absolutely terrible. I know we can get in our feelings because we are just bombarded constantly with injury news. And so sometimes that can manifest itself as taking it out on the player. But let's be honest, like, this is nothing that Jason Verrett can control, because if it was up to him, he wouldn't be going through this. So definitely feeling for Jason Verrett today. Absolutely terrible for him. Definitely sending good vibes, good energy his way. Because honestly, and we don't have to go too far down this path, but he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. Then the questions become, what does his football future look like? Right now, we don't know. Right now, just got to focus on right now, I guess, is basically what it comes up to, because not looking good for Verrett, man. Really, really not. So hopefully Verrett is able to, withstand this storm. I don't know what his NFL future looks like. I know the players love him. He's one of the, you know, favorites in the locker room. They talk about it all the time. So this is just absolutely terrible news for Jason Verrett, man. Felt like a really good story to be able to get him back on prime time against the team that drafted him. Probably was going to get a lot of snaps because, as we know, the 49ers have been kind of rotating on the opposite side of Charvarius Ward with Samuel Womack, Diamador Lenore, Ambry Thomas. No one's really stuck yet. But it felt like crossing your fingers. Hopefully, Jason Verrett could be back. So definitely not the thing that I wanted to talk about today. and on the first live back in action. But hey, it's a part of the game. It's a part of the process, and unfortunately, that's where we're at. So the hope is that we can always hope for the best, but being a 49er fan, we kind of have to prepare for the worst and just be ready for injuries that are going to likely occur, and then just figure out how to pivot. So we'll see. But it doesn't look like kind of back to more practice reports from today. Uh, Obviously, no sign of defensive tackle Eric Armstead, who's dealing with the foot and ankle. No Samson Ebukam today, who's dealing with the quad. Linebacker Dre Greenlaw, calf, was on the field for the second consecutive day, and that's per Nick Wagner of ESPN. So good news by getting a lot of players back out of the bye. Unfortunate news losing Jason Verrett as well. But it's good to see Aziz Al-Shaair, Dre Greenlaw on the field. It's been a while. 49ers look to be healthy at the linebacking position. So that's good. But yeah. What's good, fam? What's up to all the SDS? I had a fantastic break. My goodness. Honestly, it was a phenomenal break. I came back from my break and found out that everyone on Twitter is verified now. So that's new. Um, and of course, it's a lot of troll accounts that are verified on Twitter. Wild times right now, baby. Wild times on these social media streets. That's why I'm glad you're locked in here on YouTube. I don't think YouTube's going anywhere, but can't say the same for these other platforms because it's getting wild out here. It's getting wild. Uh, so, my goodness, what a time to step away. Really, really was. But I'm still excited. We got a big game coming up. We've got Chargers prime time at home, out the bye. How are you guys feeling? Did I watch any football at all? I watched Monday night. That was it. I watched the Monday night football. I watched Monday night. I think it was New Orleans. I forget who they were playing. But you guys know that Juwan Johnson touchdown where he like tiptoed down the sideline. I lost a fantasy game by 0.3 points because of that touchdown. So that was basically my football for the weekend. I watched that game. Sunday, I think I was out on the beach. Monday, Tuesday, Redwoods. Yeah. So I got Monday night football. It was okay. Till I lost my fantasy game because of that. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to get back into the content grind. We got lots of things cooking, lots of new things in the works. So I'm really excited for it. And I'm excited to get some 49ers football back because it was getting a little sketch there. I know you guys remember. It was getting a little sketch there. 49ers lose to the Falcons, embarrassing loss to the Chiefs. And then we're heading into that Rams game. And we're like, ooh, what team are we going to get? What team are we going to get against LA? Thankfully, the San Francisco 49ers did a wonderful job of taking care of LA. Oh, I saw this today. What the Arizona Cardinals do the mic'd up thing, or whatever it is. It's like Hard Knocks in season. Oh, they look like a dumpster fire. You see Kyler Murray, you see Cliff Kingsbury, you see D Hop yelling at Kyler. Like right now, when you look at the NFC West, 49ers already swept the Rams. Check that one off the list. 49ers still have 2 games against the Arizona Cardinals. One of them is going to be in Mexico right after this week against the Chargers. If the 49ers can take care of this division and easiest path towards the playoffs, easiest path, 3 games, sweep Cardinals, and of course, finish the sweep of the Seahawks. That week 15 game is going to be nuts. It's a Thursday night football game in Seattle. And that game is likely going to decide the division. And it's a Thursday night football game in Seattle. That game, and Seattle is playing, from what I've seen so far, I think they're number 1 in the NFC West. They've been playing well. They probably have the best rookie class right now on the field out of any team. It's going to be, get your popcorn ready. This second half of the year is going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. And the Chargers coming in, Justin Herbert, great quarterback, great arm, questionable offensive coordinator, injuries galore. I don't think Keenan Allen, man, can't get on the field. Keenan Allen's historically one of my favorite players. Cal guy. I've been rocking with Keenan Allen since he was a freshman at Cal. I love Keenan. But Keenan cannot stay on the field, and I don't know if Keenan will play against the 49ers. Mike Williams looks like he will be out. So it looks like the top 2 wide receivers for the Chargers will be down. I think Palmer will be up. Palmer's a good young wide receiver. He's pretty solid. Of course, Austin Eckler. Very difficult to tackle. Kind of Christian McCaffrey-esque. But what I'm really excited about is getting another look at that offense. Getting another look with Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Elijah Mitchell, Brandon Ayuk, all on the field at the same time. I think that's going to be really fun because what we love about Kyle from a game scheming standpoint, when he's scheming it up, what we really like about what he does is the way he takes advantage of defenses. The way he manipulates pre-snap formations, pre-snap movement, trying to get and pull linebackers out of their leverage and things like that. And I'm excited to see what that's going to look like with Deebo, CMC. Big City Man says, I've been having withdrawals, Brad. Oh, baby. You're going to get your fix here soon. You're going to get your fix here soon. You're getting your fix right now. Drink it down. Sip it good. Missed all the SDS, by the way. Can't say that enough. Miss all the SDS. While I was out there, whether it was in the Redwood Forest or trekking up and down the beaches of the beautiful North Coast, I was just thinking of the SDS the whole time. It's like, man, the SDS would love this. The SDS would appreciate this right now. The SDS is always with me. Shout out to Sourdough Squad, man. Oh, good stuff. I'm excited. Ready for 49ers football. Ready to get this bye week over with. And really ready to start pushing for that freaking uh that run. That run. Really excited about that. Oh, they need the Discord. I never have the Discord handy when it's time. I can do it quickly though, I think. Chili out here running the Discord. Let's see. Hopefully I got the right link. So if you guys want to join our little Discord chat, here we go. Boom. So I agree. Start Sunday, second half of the year. The real season begins this Sunday. I'm really looking forward to it. Really, really looking forward to it. For sure, for sure. Oh, we almost got 200 members? Oh, Chili started this up last week or the week before? We already got almost 200 people in the Discord. Shout out Chili. Chili out here doing the Lord's work, setting that thing up. He's got it nice too. I'm telling you, if you're kind of a boomer like me, you never been in a group chat in a Discord, it's pretty nice. And Chili's done a phenomenal job with it. Fantastic. He said, been building that Discord up while you were gone. I appreciate you, my boy. It's looking nice out there. Discord looking nice. But feel free. What do you guys want to talk about? Drop it in the chat. Questions, things that are on your mind about this season, second half, players, situations. Feel free, drop it in the chat. Shout out to all the legends. It's all good, always good to see the SDS in here. Daniel says, hope Armstead is back soon. He's the DT that the Niners are missing. The 49ers are missing some stoutness on the interior of that defensive line, and that's for sure. Eric Armstead is for sure missed. I'm really excited to see a little bit more clarity about that, and like maybe get a timetable on his injury. But we'll see what's going down. The Rams continue downfall. What did the Rams lose again? Hold on. Did the Rams lose again after we snatched their souls? Oh, they lost again to the Bucks. Wow. 16-13. What a real barn burner that one was. The Bucks take down the Rams. The Rams are falling apart. Seahawks are 6-3. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that the Seahawks would be 6-3 when it's all said and done? We all talked about the Seahawks at the beginning of this year, that they were the bottom feeders of this division. Not the case. Not the case. You got the Cardinals at 3-6, spiraling out of control. I mean, honestly, I would not be surprised that if the Cardinals miss playoff contention, they just fire Cliff Kingsbury. That's kind of what it feels like. D'Amico's talking. Dang it. D'Amico's talking right meow. Online learning isn't what it used to be. Just want to take a peek. Oh man. But Rams do not look good, and we saw that up close and personal. Feels like it's a two-man race. Seahawks versus the 49ers. It's really what it feels like it's coming down to. And again, that week 15 game, a Thursday night matchup at Seattle is going to be massive. Oh, we got a Chargers fan in here? We got a Chargers fan? Uh, Shout out to all the LA teams, man. Their fan bases are very thin. Very, very thin. Like very thin pancakes. But yeah, man. Are we still rivals with the Rams? Are we moving this party over to Arizona? I don't know what it is. I really do enjoy beating the Rams, regardless of the circumstances. They might not be rivals in the sense of, I mean, it's kind of like the San Francisco 49ers versus Seahawks. I felt like, 49ers would always be like, oh man, that Seahawks rivalry is tough, but the 49ers would never beat the Seahawks. We would just talk about it and just talk about how this is the year, this is the week we're going to beat the Seahawks, and it just would never come. Uh, those early 2011, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. What? It wasn't until 2019 that we got that epic win, the goal line stand with Dre Greenlaw on the 1 yard line. But my goodness. James says, not gonna lie, I'm nervous having to play Herbert. Dude was my favorite quarterback of that class. Herbert was good coming out of Oregon. I remember I had my questions about him. Um, you know, like what was he going to be? But I do remember seeing him throw at the combine, and just like his arm was insane. Watching him at the combine is kind of what switched me to think he was going to be a good quarterback. I was unsure heading into the combine and through that process, but I remember just from what I saw of him at that combine, I was like, oh yeah, he looks like he's going to be a good player. He is a good player, but I think right now they just don't have an offensive coordinator that's really putting them in great position to be successful, and they're missing their top targets at wide receiver. They used to rely heavily on Antonio Gates, and they really never replaced Antonio Gates with the tight end. I think they have Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett really hasn't done much of anything. Um, Parham, McKitty. They got a couple athletic tight ends, but none that are really going to scare you at all. But I do like Herbert. I do. I think he's a young, good player, and I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league for a long time. Uh, but I do think the Chargers, at least preseason, if you would have asked me, I would have said this would have been one of the tougher matchups of the year when we got the schedule. As it stands right now, of course, any given Sunday, anything can happen. They have good talent on both sides of the ball, but they're injured on both sides as well. Joey Bosa's hurt. They lost J.C. Jackson for the year. So on paper, preseason, they look like they were going to be dominating. Just based on the talent levels that they had, some of the players that they brought in. It's not saying that they can't perform either, but I do think, again, the 49ers are their own worst enemy. So if the 49ers play their brand of football, it's going to be really hard to beat them. But let's take a look. Again, I didn't really watch football last weekend. The Chargers beat the Falcons 20-17. So we saw what happened week 6 against the Falcons from the 49ers standpoint. And again, when you look at that game against the Falcons, there's a lot of 49ers beating themselves, whether it's the fumble from Jeff Wilson that turned into a touchdown, just bad decisions, missed plays, drops, penalties. 49ers lost that game against the Falcons. Chargers beat the Falcons 20-17 last Sunday. So it's going to be interesting. Justin Herbert threw 43 times. 30 of them were caught for 245 yards, touchdown, and interception. Austin Eckler does what Austin Eckler does, scored a touchdown rushing and receiving. Outside of that, and Josh Palmer, who had 8 receptions for 106 yards, they don't have a bunch of weapons. It's basically Herbert, Eckler, and Palmer. And Slater's out, from my understanding. So I got to do a little brushing up on the Chargers. But should be a game that the San Francisco 49ers handle. They should. Because we know if the 49ers play their version, their brand of football, they're going to beat a lot of teams. They're going to be a lot of different opponents that face them regardless of talent, because when you look at what the 49ers have, their skill positions, the offensive line is gelling, getting healthy on defense. These guys should be able to play and beat anyone, honestly. I think the NFL as a whole looked a lot more daunting heading into the season, but as the season's progressed, we're in the middle of it. We're in week 10 right now. I think outside the Bills, outside the Chiefs, outside the Eagles, Miami's looking better after that kind of 3-game slump, but really those 3 teams, Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, feels like majority of the teams are beatable or worse than I think we thought they were going to be. Like the Raiders look like garbage. Cardinals look like garbage. Chargers aren't all that great right now. Denver, not that great right now. Bucks, not that great. So definitely looked different. Chili says, like the video. Score predictions. We could do early score predictions if you want. If you want to do score predictions for 49ers versus Chargers, feel free to drop them in. We'll do our official predictions. What's tomorrow? Friday? I'm all messed up. I'm all backwards. Feels like a Monday to me, or I don't know what today feels like, but it's Thursday. It's like the first day that I'm like really getting into it. Just feels backwards at this point. Chili's saying 37-31. It does feel like it's going to be a high scoring game. Does feel like it's going to be a high scoring game. 31-14. Ooh, blowout time. Blow out the candles. The streets are talking that the state of the franchise is going to go up tomorrow. So stick around. Stick around for that. Yes, we need to bring. Oh, the homie moved too. He has a new film dungeon, and it's sick. So I agree. Aponte Friday. We got to get GM Jordan on here. I think it's been a while. Oh, I think about it. It's been a long time. Let's see what else. Questions, comments, concerns. Dev says we got a lot of those garbage teams left. We better beat them, of course. Oh yeah, the Packers aren't playing well at all. Josh says, Brad, while you were gone with the bye, I watched the lives from last postseason. Was taking a quick hit of that Cowboys pack from last year. That Cowboys pack will always be smooth for sure. That's funny. Those were fun times, man. I hope I hope the 49ers can one get into the playoffs and make another run because those post-game lives and like all those lives leading up till that week, dude, it was so much freaking fun. We had so much fun talking about the San Francisco 49ers in that playoff run that they had that close away from being to the Super Bowl, but that was a super fun ride. Uh, definitely enjoyed that. Um, hey Brad, would you ever do a show with Grant? I mean, I'm always open to communicating and vibing and uh doing shows with all different kinds of content creators. Never gonna say never, but hey, you never know. I did my first shout out to Brian Peacock and Eric Crocker of the Locked On podcast. Actually, Jordan Elliott and I joined them last week. So I got the first time I did a show with both Peacock and Crocker. So that was cool. It was good to connect with those guys. Um, yeah, but you guys know the vibes. Um, I'm just excited to be back. Feel like I need you guys to catch me up for once. It's like, so what happened in the NFL this week? Oh, that Packer game was crazy. Absolutely crazy. What was it? The Jordan Willis block punt, the Tundra turnover, the Talanoa Hufanga scoop and score. Crazy plays were made in that game. It was a slow game because of the weather, but when it came down to crunch time, hell, Josh Norman. I had it out for Josh Norman all year. I'm normally not going to normally just in fact I just don't go after players. It's just not what I do. But I did not like Josh Norman. I did not like him one bit, and I was constantly ragging at him. Um, I didn't like the way he played football. Had nothing to do with his actual like talent or anything. I just didn't like the way he played football. I thought he was, just. I remember there's one play we were breaking down. I think it was like week 10 against the Rams, and Josh Norman stands over Van Jefferson while Van Jefferson's on the ground, and he takes his cleats and just starts cleating Van Jefferson. And I'm like, I don't like the Rams either, but come on, man. Come on, man. How are you going to be that just blatantly dirty? I don't like that. I don't like that type of stuff. So I didn't like Josh Norman. Josh Norman made a good play in that game. I think he had to come in off the sideline cold. But yeah, that was a crazy game. I hope we get more of that. And yeah, Jordan Willis, I think he might be returning here soon. I think the 49ers have four guys returning. Four guys returning. They need to create one roster spot, but I don't know. Maybe Jason Verrett is the roster spot now. If Jason Verrett reverts to injured reserve, I would imagine that opens up that fourth roster spot. So, man, it sucks with Jason. Jason Verrett legitimately could have been a Hall of Fame player. That's the crazy thing about like these injuries, man. Like Jason Verrett legitimately had the talent to be a Hall of Fame type cornerback. Like in an alternate universe, Jason Verrett doesn't get injured. He's healthy, and that health allows him to be a Hall of Fame type player, which is crazy. Like that's the thing I hate about football the most is like when you lose out on those opportunities. Like you lose out like these special like magical quality type players and you never get to see it like come to fruition uh because of just injuries, you know? And it just sucks. I mean, he's had a good career, but he could have had a phenomenal career. He could have had I'm talking about one of these legendary uh I mean, I don't want to say like Deion Sanders type career. Deion was built different, but like a Champ Bailey. Like I feel like Jason Verrett was like on that like Champ Bailey type arc with how well he was playing so early. I mean, you even saw it in 2020. He was out for like 2 years, came back in 2020 and was playing at an extremely high level. Then just, it's just the injuries, man. Cut it short. Sucks. It's the worst thing about football. Oh, it's funny. I saw the George Kittle was talking about. I think he was on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast with Will Compton, and they asked him what his superpower would be, and his superpower was health regeneration. And he was like, "Imagine you go play a football game, and then you wake up the next morning and you're fully healthy." Like, you're not sore, you don't have anything nagging at you, like, you're just fully healthy. That was George Kittle's superpower, that he would pick if he was, able to do so as a football player. But it also speaks to, like, what George has had to battle with and what George has had to go through. Like, that's the thing that's hard about this sport that is so physical and violent. It's like you're guaranteed to get injured, but it's like at what level of injury are you going to get, a bum knee that you're going to have to play through for an entire year, kind of like what Mike McGlinchey's doing, like he's working through that leg injury, or are you just going to get it all taken away in one fall swoop like Emmanuel Mosley? It's like it's just a tough game, man. That's why it takes being mentally strong, mentally tough to really work through these injuries. Because I'm sure you would talk to a lot of these players, like they are gutting through these injuries to play. Like they shouldn't be playing. They should be out, but they're doing whatever they can to be on the field. You got Jimmy Ward out here with the club. He's got a broken hand. Jimmy Ward's like, whatever, wrap it up. Let's go. You know, you have to they don't get enough respect, I think, when they do that. Like, of course, Jimmy Ward hurt for the first quarter of the season, comes back first play against the Rams, breaks his finger. Like, and then, but he's still trying to get out on the field. They wrap it. You gotta have this mentality to play. And I know what that mentality is because I was always injured. I'm still always injured. My back is falling apart. Like I just my injury, like if I had a Madden injury rating, my Madden injury rating would be like in the 40s. I'm telling you. Like when I was playing, I would get hurt. When I wasn't playing, I would get hurt, but I'd have to force myself to play through injury because if I wanted to play, I had to practice and you have to be out on the field. You got to get the reps and you can't lose those reps or else you're going to take steps back. So I can sympathize, man. Injuries are tough. It's like how do you control that? You can't. You can't. Sometimes it's just freak stuff. So tough to see players go down like that. But thankfully, the silver lining heading out of this Bye week is 49ers are getting healthy. So that's a good sign, right? Elijah Mitchell? We're gonna see Elijah Mitchell this year? It wasn't the first time. We saw Elijah Mitchell. Yeah, Elijah Mitchell played. Elijah Mitchell got hurt against the Bears. I remember what play he got hurt on too. Um, but we're gonna see Elijah Mitchell back, fresh legs. Elijah Mitchell. I remember when Elijah Mitchell went down last year. I think his first game back was week 17 against the Texans, must-win game. The 49ers had to win out. It was Trey Lance's first start. They had to win out to get into the playoffs. So they had to start with week 17. And I remember Elijah came back from being down a couple games, and he looked phenomenal. Uh, he looked like a different running back than what we saw before the injury. So with the bye and everything, I'm excited. I know all the hype, of course, surrounds Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, legend already. Oh, there's dude. Juice is a beast. Josh says Matt Mayoko said he saw Juice make a one-handed catch with his bad hand. You guys saw that picture where his finger was like just it looked like a J, like it was just crooked. Uh Juice is tough. Speaking of mental toughness, he broke his finger against the Chiefs in the third quarter and proceeded to play the entire game. And he also caught two passes with a broken finger. You wouldn't have known that Kyle Juszczyk had basically a broken hand out there, but he kept playing. And like I said, he got two passes with that broken finger. Um, so that's crazy. Harris says, "How do you see them playing CMC and Elijah when they're both healthy?" The beauty of Christian McCaffrey is that you can line him up anywhere. I do see a lot of opportunities where both Elijah Mitchell and Christian McCaffrey are going to be on the field at the same time. I think you're going to see less of Jawan Jennings and you're going to see more of Christian in, like, let's say it's like a potential, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, where I think typically you'd see the 49ers go wide. You'd maybe have like Elijah Mitchell next to Jimmy Garoppolo in the shotgun. Then you'd have Debo in the slot, Ayuk in the X, and then you'd have Jawan Jennings wherever, and then Kittle wherever, whether in line or flexed out. I do see a scenario where the person who gets hits from snap share might be Jawan, because you can put Elijah Mitchell on the field. Like, you could literally flex out Elijah all the way wide, and they could theoretically take it, like, say it's man or something. They could theoretically take the linebacker and put him out on Elijah. So you're taking one of your better interior run defenders, because based on the rules, you see Elijah run is a running back. If he's flexed out wide, they could put and move a linebacker out wide. You could either have like CMC or Debo lined up in the slot pre-snap. Like, you could do all different kinds of things. Like, or let's reset that. You have Jimmy Garoppolo shotgun, Elijah Mitchell to the right. You have CMC slot. You have Debo slot. You have Ayuk out left of Debo. You have Kittle in line at tight end. You shift Elijah Mitchell out wide past CMC. They take a linebacker and they move and follow Elijah out. Then you take CMC and you shift him to the right of Jimmy Garoppolo. And then you have now a slot corner playing in the box as opposed to, let's say, a middle linebacker or a Sam linebacker. So I think that's a way that they can manipulate coverages and they can manipulate personnel groupings by how these teams hold to their keys and what they identify these players as. Like, if that makes sense, because if Debo and CMC are lined up as wide receivers, do they tag them as a wide receiver? What happens when they shift in uh, to being, flanked left or right of Jimmy Garoppolo? I feel like you're going to be able to do so once they figure out the way defenses are keying on these players, then you're going to see all those shifts. You're going to see all like, all right, how are you playing this? We're going to move this guy out. We're going to see what player follows him out. And that's going to like key and trigger what our next move is. I think there's going to be a lot of different things, but I think because of that and CMC's ability to play as a wide receiver, I think Elijah's going to be on the field a decent amount because the Elijah's a really good in between the tackle runner, so you can still have the threat of inside run as well as screens to the outside to CMC. Like, I think it's just another opportunity for Kyle to spread out the defense because as we've seen, and we know what Jimmy Garoppolo's good at, right? Jimmy Garoppolo's good at attacking the middle of the field. So defenses typically bring safeties down. They have robbers always kind of rotating into the middle. They're always just clogging up the middle. And the 49ers haven't had a good answer in regards to attacking the edges since Raheem Mostert's been gone. Well, CMC is that. And you had Debo for a little while last year, the wide back thing. That's why they used him in that role to tack the edges and gain spacing, especially on the interior. But now Kyle's going to be cooking it up, man. He's going to be cooking it up. I'm really excited for it. I think the 49ers have an opportunity to be the best versions of themselves that I think we've ever seen with Christian McCaffrey in the lineup. I think it's going to be, and it's only going to continue to progress. So, and that's the best part of it is we're going to see a play where Kyle Shanahan's he's going to pull the what was it? Pistol Pete, all four running backs on the field at once, except it's going to be Debo, Elijah, TDP, and CMC. He'll come up with something creative. Use TDP as a fullback. But I'm really looking forward to it. I think the 49ers have a solid opportunity to finally get this offense clicking in the right direction. Kyle needs that outside threat. He needs that speed. He needs something to threaten the outside, and he's got it. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's crazy how Jimmy Garoppolo played with just CMC being in the lineup. CMC is going to be so good for this team, man. I didn't think from like a money standpoint that the 49ers would actually try to do it, but outside of those issues, which they've clearly gotten by, the talent perspective feels infinite as long as, of course, this team can stay healthy. So with Christian McCaffrey in the mix, we're going to see Debo Samuel hopefully healthy. Jimmy Garoppolo has now more options. The fact that he was checking down, I don't know what it is, but I felt like that was just an element of the 49ers offense that was always missing. It's like, why don't they check down? Why don't they just throw it to the running back? Like if everything's covered in the middle, why don't we just check down? Feel like Jimmy has definitely been a lot more open to that. So if Jimmy can improve, I have a question for you guys. because as we know, Jimmy Garoppolo, most polarizing San Francisco 49er I've seen in the last 5, 6 years. So I have a question for you guys, and we're all over the place. I don't think, that when we talk about the SDS, the sourdough squad, I don't think it's all Jimmy lovers, Trey lovers, all the names that everyone has for each other who likes the certain players. I feel like we're a melting pot. Like we have people who like Jimmy, we have people who like Trey, we have people who genuinely like both quarterbacks and want to see both quarterbacks succeed. I think that's something that's rare in today's day and age. Actually, having fans that are good with Jimmy being successful and Trey being successful, as long as the San Francisco 49ers are winning football games. Um, but considering all of that, do you guys see Jimmy Garoppolo getting better this year? Even if it hasn't been perfect, because let's face it, wasn't perfect against Seattle, wasn't perfect against the Broncos, wasn't totally even against the last week against the Rams wasn't perfect. Against the Chiefs wasn't perfect. Right? Wasn't perfect. But is he getting like willingness to throw deep more? Willingness to throw outside the numbers? Willingness to check down? Willingness to I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's too soon. Maybe it's too soon. But it does feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is you feel like he's up in his game a little bit. Feels like it. Really does. I did see that Trey Lance is off the walking boot, so that's good news. I know Kyle Shanahan shut down any rumors of Trey Lance possibly returning this season, but the fact that he's out of the walking boot already is a good sign. So that's nice. Chili said I asked on Discord. 17 out of 24 people said they hate Jimmy. Good times. Shout out the Discord. How many carries for Mitchell when he plays? Ooh, I like I like 13, 12 to 13 carries. 12 to 13 carries for Elijah because I do think CMC will I don't think we want to see CMC with 25 plus carries. If we're talking 20 plus touches that involve passes in the flat, choice routes out of the backfield, and things like that, we're talking 20 plus touches. I think that makes sense. Um, but I also see a world where, you know, third and third and 2, you're going to see CMC on the field in the sense of gravity to see how again the defenses react to him. You could see Elijah running right up the gut. So I still think Elijah's going to get some touches. And we saw that. We saw Jeff Wilson and Christian McCaffrey go back and forth. So I would imagine anywhere from 12, 13 touches for Elijah seems like a good spot. Perhaps Jimmy watched the review video a few weeks ago. Hey man, Jimmy hasn't been perfect. He hasn't, but it it does just get a sense he's playing a little better for sure. Um, oh, this is going to be the debate of the century. What happens next season if Jimmy leads the 49ers to a Super Bowl and they win, of course? Do you let him walk or resign him? I feel like at that point, the 49ers win the Super Bowl, they accomplish the goal. The Jimmy Garoppolo, the 49ers, they're wild 6 years together, six and a half or five and a half. They shake hands and they part ways. Because I would imagine if Jimmy Garoppolo goes and wins the Super Bowl, he'll be able to get a good contract for someone else, like multi-year. Dare I say, someone like the Commanders will pay him 100 mil. Someone would do it just to get a scent of that Super Bowl victory uh, quarterback smell. So I really do think it would come down to the 49ers being able to get the Super Bowl and then just say, thank you, Jimmy. We appreciate the run. You're a free agent. We have Trey. Now the team can focus to developing Trey with no pressure. I, again, I don't know how most fans would think. My brain, again, as a 49er fan, my brain, if the 49ers win the Super Bowl, I can sit back, smoke a cigar for like the next 3 years while they build and develop the next core. Or they just run it back, but with Trey. But with Trey, I also recognize there's going to be some work to be done from a developmental standpoint. And those bumps and bruises are going to be painless for the most part. For the most part, with a sixth ring. So I I do see a world that exists where Jimmy wins a Super Bowl, they come back together, they make a contract happen, they get it done. Okay. I do see that happening because let's face it, I didn't see the 49ers bringing back Jimmy Garoppolo this year, and they did that. So if he wins a Super Bowl, I don't think it's that crazy that they would bring him back. But I think Jimmy would have so much leverage in that situation that Jimmy would be able to go wherever he wants. He would be, oh, you know what? You know how recency biased is. You guys know Jimmy Garoppolo has a good postseason run. They don't give a crap about anything that happened even in this season. All they care, all people, media, fan bases care about. Now, what have you done for me recently? What was the last thing that I saw you do? And if Jimmy Garoppolo goes out and performs, has a good quality Super Bowl and wins the San Francisco 49ers their sixth ring, I guarantee you half the league will be trying to figure out how to pay Jimmy Garoppolo to bring him on board. So I do find it, if that's the case, the 49ers just say, go off into the sunset, young king, and find your new team. We've got Trey, and we'll develop Trey. But anything can happen. Anything. Oh, I forgot. We haven't talked about this yet. We haven't talked about this yet. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Got to drop one of those in. Um, Odell Beckham Jr. Should the 49ers go after OBJ? I saw that was floated around. Um, apparently, who was it? Who said it? Was it Jay Glazer thinks that the 49ers could add OBJ. What do you think about that? Again, I think I've talked about this before. I think I even pulled up old receipts. Like back in 2018, I think it was 2018. Yeah. 2018, heading into 2019, I was the OBJ champion. I was the guy that Bills, not Bills, Giants fan pages were trolling because it was like the Brian Burns thing, right? Where I'm like, Brian Burns might be able to get traded, and like I would go down my rabbit holes of trying to does this make sense? Here's some hypothetical scenarios. I had giant New York Giants fan pages drop into my DMs, drop into my comments, call me an idiot, call me stupid. You don't know nothing about football if you think OBJ is going to get traded. I was like, OBJ is going to get traded. They're like, nah, you're tripping. Dave Gettleman said we didn't sign him to trade him. I said, OBJ is going to get traded. They're like, nah, you're an idiot. I was like, all right, I might be an idiot, but here's my hypothetical scenario to trade for OBJ because he's going to get traded. They're like, no, you're stupid. Well, guess who got traded? And guess who was in the mix? By all accounts, it was between the Browns and the 49ers to get OBJ. I think it was back in 2018 going into 2019. From what I've heard from whether I think it was out of John Lynch's mouth. I could be wrong, but I believe he said that the 49ers had a better package in place to get OBJ away from the Giants. But Dave Gettleman, understanding the game, if Dave Gettleman traded away the New York Giants' brightest piece to the 49ers and OBJ thrives in a top 5 media market, Gettleman will never hear the end of it. So he trades him to the Browns where his career could go to die. So I was all in it then. That was the year I was scheming up how do we trade back for Brian Burns and trade for OBJ. I think even back last year it got brought up again. And it was also said or reported that the 49ers were in on OBJ last year. Okay, well, let's fast forward to this year. Last year, Brandon Ayuk was, as we all know, in the doghouse and working his way through it. And then he started to improve. Debo was half a running back at this time. So I think OBJ made sense last year. But looking at the way the 49ers are set up right now, and you just traded for CMC, OBJ, of course, on a Madden franchise would be phenomenal. If OBJ was your third wide receiver behind Debo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, mixed in with Juwan Jennings, a little Ray McLeod sprinkled in, Danny Gray sprinkled in. Yeah, in that scenario, that would be great. But I don't think the 49ers already aren't a pass-heavy offense. They add CMC. CMC is going to get like 50% of the workload. Then the next is going to go to Debo and Kittle. Hopefully Ayuk gets his touches, but then you bring in OBJ, who I don't know if he would work as primarily inside or as an outside receiver. But I don't know. I just seen that scenario. It'd be a cool weapon to have. I just don't know if it's necessary. I don't know if it's a good fit. We'll see. I don't know if the 49ers do it. I'm I'm kind of walking the line down the middle because if I have to think of it objectively in the sense of, let's say right now, the news broke that the 49ers added OBJ. Okay, now we think about it through the lens of OBJ's on the team. Okay, OBJ's here. What does that mean? Uh, what does that look for his usage? I think we'd all be okay with it at that point. But do we get to that point where the 49ers, again, they have cap space, they have the room to do it? If it's a 1 year, let's see what happens type deal. So that's why I'm like, I'm in the middle. If the 49ers don't go after OBJ, I'm not going to lose a single minute of sleep. I don't think the 49ers are going to be like, oh, they missed out on OBJ. But if they get OBJ, what does that look like? Is that an embarrassment of riches? Does that help the 49ers? It could. It could be a detriment. Maybe OBJ winning the Super Bowl at this stage in his career is just looking to be on a good football team. I don't know. So I would lean towards I think the 49ers are okay without him, but if they added him, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be mad at the move. But I'm also perfectly fine with how the 49ers are currently constructed. I think CMC, Debo, Kittle, and Ayuk is a beautiful four-headed monster, and I feel like they're going to be able to be successful. If you add OBJ, just adds on to the top. But we'll see. Zay says, yes, add OBJ. Don't let another team get him. We don't need him, but you can never go wrong with another wide receiver. Plus, why let the Cowboys or Bills get better? That's a good point. That's the 49ers talked about getting CMC from the Rams was also partly due to keep CMC away from the Rams. So do the 49ers feel like, I don't know if the Rams at this point don't seem like a great contender. I don't know if OBJ would want to go to the Rams. Definitely doesn't look like he'd want to go to the Cardinals. Would he go to Seattle? I don't know. They got DK, they got Lockett. Would he want to be their number 3 wide receiver? I don't know. So I definitely see both sides on this one. I don't have a hard line to draw in the sand. Coach, hey, appreciate the super chat. Appreciate the super chat from Zay. And of course, always from Coach showing love to the channel. We always appreciate that, man. Hope you're doing well, Coach. He says, hate to do this because I'm pro player, but OBJ is damaged goods. His cachet is more proven than his actual production. I would say this later part of his career. Yeah. Having OBJ would be a name. True. Nothing more. We got enough problems getting our guys the ball now. Don't get cute. We got cute enough with CMC, according to Coach. He says, don't add another headache to the mix. I definitely see where you're coming from, Coach. That's why I'm kind of indifferent on it. If they added him, I could see the realm and the range of possibilities why it makes sense, but I also understand why they wouldn't either. J Tan says poll time. All right, drop it in the chat. It's simple yes or no poll time. We'll end today's stream with the poll. So it's yes or no. That's it. And I want to see you spam your answers in the chat. We've had some debate back and forth. So you've had some opportunity to kind of come up with your thoughts. Drop it in the chat, yes or no, if you would like to see Odell Beckham Jr. on the San Francisco 49ers in 2022, just this season, not next season, not the year after, just this season. You know what to do. Drop it in the chat. Oh, it's a house divided. I love it. House divided, baby. First one off the bat, yes. Gmo agrees with coach. Only one ball to go around. No, says the hammer. Yes, yes. No, says Jason. No. No, says Jesus. Did you rebrand on me again? Is that a new profile picture? No, from Dabbing Hyena. No. 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 Yes. No. Yes. 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 Nope. Nope. Yes. It's pretty. It's pretty even. Yes. Ooh, Twitch. Let's go, Twitch. Pass. That's a no. Yes, if the deal is right. It's pretty. I agree. Split. Right down the middle. So, like I said, that's how I feel. I don't feel strongly one way or the other. If they add, like, I have to take a step back. If the 49ers added OBJ, like, and they did it, like, and let's say we're talking about it from that perspective of them adding OBJ, I wouldn't be mad at it. But if they also didn't sign OBJ and he just went somewhere else and the 49ers just kept it moving, I wouldn't be mad either. I wouldn't be like, oh, should have got OBJ. So I'm honestly, I'm in the middle. I see both sides. I could see OBJ coming on as your third wide receiver. What is that going to create? I don't know. How's he rebounding off the ACL injury? He's up there. He's not the same OBJ likely. But hey, the flip side of the coin, does OBJ come in? Good attitude, good effort, team player, company man, uh, willing to do whatever it takes. So, coach feels strongly about this one. He feels strongly. I think this is going to be the deal breaker, though, honestly. The deal breaker is when you look at your wide receiver 3. I feel like your wide receiver 3 on the San Francisco 49ers has to block. Like, that's one of Juwan Jennings' best traits is his ability to block and be a dog in the blocking game. I don't know if OBJ has it in him. I don't know if I could see OBJ getting down and dirty on the outside, trying to pancake linebackers. You know, Kyle loves bringing in Ayuk, Debo, Jawan to come wall or seal these linebackers or even defensive ends. I don't. I think the last time I can remember Odell doing that was against the 49ers. Tried to do it against Bosa. OBJ said, I want no part in that. I think Bosa got a sack on that play. or tackle for loss, whatever it was. But yeah, we'll see. So that happened when I was out. Apparently, OBJ rumors picked up. I think we officially covered all the speculation. And stuff like that. So Coach says, that's why Danny Gray isn't playing. Ask yourself this: what can OBJ do for us that Danny can't do in our offense? And Danny can't even make the field. I think the only thing that the differentiator there is OBJ's a veteran at least, and Danny's just a rookie, still trying to get his footing. I think that would be the one major difference is just mentality. But outside of that, I see where you're coming from. But hey, who knows? We'll see. But it's been good vibing with the SDS. Missed you guys. It's gone for a week. Woo! I think that was the longest intentional break that I've ever taken while doing this since what? 2017, something like that. So it's good to be back. Unfortunate circumstances today and what we have to talk about. I was really looking forward to hyping up some good injury news, but we got some poor injury news earlier this morning. So hopefully tomorrow's a little bit better. I missed all my SDS. Miss all my SDSs out here. Like the video if you haven't. If you haven't subbed to the channel yet, I don't know what you're doing at this point, but bless you. If you're just lurking, still, we appreciate you. Hit the noti bells, as always. And I believe State of the Franchise was normally Wednesdays, but I think we might do it tomorrow. So stick around. TBD. Weird week for me. Think we might be doing State of the Franchise tomorrow. So stick around. Maybe like last week where I didn't tell Jason that we were doing State of the Franchise, but I just told you guys that we were doing State of the Franchise. I'll do it like that again. I'm not going to tell Jason that we're doing State of the Franchise tomorrow. We're doing State of the Franchise tomorrow. I'm letting the SDS know. Maybe through the grapevine, you can let Jason know that he better be ready. The streets are going to be talking about the State of the Franchise. I appreciate you guys. Good to be back. Plenty more content. We're getting ready for a big second half run. I'm excited for it because we're going to be sprinting to the finish line. And again, I'm hoping for a deep playoff run. And I'm looking forward to it and to being along for the ride every step of the way. Appreciate you all. As always, SDS is still undefeated. Let's go. Smash that like button if you haven't already. Love to see it.